Well, the NFL preseason continues tomorrow night. Friday Night Lights, if you will. Got a slate of games that includes the Chiefs at the Seahawks. That'll be at 10 p.m. Eastern time, a little nightcap. But we'll also see the Titans and Falcons at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Today we focus on the Tennessee Titans and the Atlanta Falcons, who will take the field for week 2 of this preseason. And tensions are already kind of high after 2 joint practice sessions this week. So we're hoping for a pretty competitive game for the preseason, that is. For much more on what to expect, let's go ahead and welcome back to the set Douzable. I'm Jordan Giorgio. Danny Kanell joins us from afar. Danny, how are you? Guys, I just mentioned a pretty chippy joint practices this week. One scuffle also included Falcons quarterback Michael Penix Jr. This is what he had to say to reporters after the scuffle. Take a listen.
I'm glad they did, because you know, obviously, that's not something that we want to be doing in practice. We want to get our reps in, you know, get that good work in. But it went how it went. But to see the team have my back and they were there to make sure they protect me. A lot of guys asked me if I was good, and you know, it was good to know that those guys got my back. So.
Okay, so coming to Danny first on this one, QB to QB. Usually quarterbacks stay away from the scuffle. They stay away from all the altercations right on the field. But in this case, Danny, in this situation, new starting young quarterback in Michael Penix Jr., could this actually maybe be a little beneficial for the locker room?
Oh, yeah. I mean, quarterbacks, we get treated like royalty in a lot of ways, and you're not allowed to be touched. No one's allowed to come near you. You know, you just have a pretty nice existence out there. So anytime you can make yourself one of the guys and mix it up a little bit and get into a scrum and get into a little argument, maybe get into a shoving match, I think it's good. I think you do win the respect of your teammates. But I actually like even more so what Penix said. Once that happens, like, it is pretty easy for a QB, again, because once you do, your teammates better have your back. And there's no better feeling than to see a bunch of 300-pounders come rushing to your aid before anything gets too serious. So on all accounts, I do think these fights kind of build camaraderie. I think every coach wants their team to be fighting together, especially when you're in a practice like this with another team. Sometimes it gets a little uncomfortable when the offense is fighting defense. When you're fighting another team, you love that your team wants to scrap a little bit, and even more so that they got your young quarterbacks back.
Yeah, DK is a former defensive lineman in the league. I love that the quarterback has dog in him. Also, shout out to the 813 Tampa, Florida, where Michael Penix is from. We don't play that disrespect, you know what I'm saying, DK? But to your point, right, I think as a team, when you see your quarterback willing to go after somebody because he's protecting his teammate, it kind of brings that camaraderie and everybody together. And the Falcons are trying to build something special there. Obviously, they put Michael Penix Jr. in at the end of the season, and they saw the development in him, and he's going to be the future of the franchise. So little tidbits like this, I know, again, you don't want fighting constantly in practice, because as to his point, you want to be able to come in and get your work. That's why you're doing the cross practice, so you can see it versus another team, because a lot of times when you do those cross practices, the frontline guys aren't going to play in the preseason game, so you want to get that work. But I love that the rest of his team had his back. And again, from a defensive lineman's perspective, I love that my quarterback got a little dog in him.
Unusual for starting quarterbacks to get into scuffles. Not unusual for them to not play in preseason games. Michael Penix Jr., as we know, is not going to be playing in tomorrow's preseason game against the Titans. Best move?
I think, again, when you've had a couple of days of hard work versus a team and you wanted to get everything you accomplished, then no need to put your quarterback in harm's way. And it's always interesting, DK, when you look at the philosophy of these head coaches when it comes throughout training camp. Like, are we going to put more emphasis on the cross practice, or are we going to put more emphasis on the preseason game? And there's more than one way to do things the right way, but it seems like Raheem Morris says, we went out there, had some tough physical days with the Tennessee Titans. We got the work that we wanted to get in. No need to put our future franchise in harm's way. We're going to let some of these other guys get reps.
Now, that is not the case, Danny, for backup quarterbacks. And in this case, it's Kirk Cousins, who is also not playing. Danny, what is the game plan with this guy? What's the deal?
Oh, I think what they're worried about is they don't want either quarterback to get, hurt, because one, I agree with Penix, but I don't agree with philosophy of not playing Penix, because I think you kind of can get a head start in the rest of the league. There's no formula, though, that works or doesn't work. I just think he's still a young quarterback. He could use some reps, but you definitely don't want to play Kirk Cousins, because he's somebody who's always established himself as a starter in the NFL. And if he goes out there in the preseason and get hurt, there goes your trade bait. Because if another other team loses a starter, I think Kirk Cousins is the first quarterback, or the Falcons will be the first team that somebody calls and says, hey, do you want to make a deal with Kirk Cousins? And if he's hurt, he becomes untradeable. So I am not surprised at all that they're protecting Kirk Cousins, because if there's an opportunity to move him, they would love to move their salary, move him off the roster, and like Ligier was saying, start looking to the future with Penix. It's almost like a distraction that you've got this $50 million quarterback as your backup. So I think there's a clear reason why they're not going to play Kirk Cousins. I think you play Penix a little bit next week, kind of get him geared up. I don't think you see Kirk Cousins at all.
Are you on the same page with playing Michael Penix next week?
Yeah, I would play him for maybe a series. That literally would be it, just because you don't want to go into the regular season not having played for 2 consecutive weeks. Now, again, it'll be up to Raheem Morris and how he feels like Michael Penix has progressed throughout this. Maybe he doesn't want to put his frontline starters in harm's way. But I think each quarterback should at least play in 2 out of the 3 games, even if it's just for a series, just so you have that feel of what real game action is like, so it doesn't kind of startle you when you get ready for the regular season opener.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And just being a little bit overprotective when it comes to Kirk Cousins. I get it. A lot of excitement, of course, surrounding some of the newbies, right? The Falcons' first-round picks and Jalen Walker. They got James Pierce, of course. Both seem to really be pushing each other at practice. Are you liking what you're seeing from them?
I love it, because for the longest, they have not had a pass rush. Danny, like, that has been the thing that's ailed them, right? Going back to like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years, I think it was Vic Beasley. He was the last guy that had double-digit sacks for them. So Raheem Morris, when he was with the Rams, right? Remember, he traded for Von Miller, had Aaron Donald. He needs the guys up front to be able to get after the quarterback. So what they did in the draft, they were ultra-aggressive. Jalen Walker fell to them. They didn't think he was going to be there, so they picked him. But then they got aggressive again and traded up to get James Pierce, one of the most pro-ready defensive ends coming out of this group of college players as far as his hand usage and getting to the quarterback. But what I really love, Jordan, is that they went and got Leonard Floyd this offseason. He's been one of the most consistent defensive ends in all of football. You're going to get 8 to 10 sacks from him every single year, and he's really good against the run. So I like that 3-headed monster. And don't forget a guy like Braylon Trice and Arnold Ebiketie is there as well. So they finally have the subsequent depth to send guys in waves to get after the quarterback.
I mean, this was the biggest criticism when they selected Penix. When they did, is they could have gotten a pass rusher in that draft a year ago. So now they go and get 2 of them in this year's draft, and I love the mentality, hearing that they're both young, hungry. There's a part of me that wonders how those offensive linemen feel about a couple of rookie first-round talents going full speed every day in practice. They're probably like, all right, Rook, let's calm down just a little bit. But they're young, they're hungry, they're competing for playing time. I think this is exactly the type of mentality the Falcons need on the defensive side of the ball.
Let's go ahead and get to the Titans here. We will get to see first overall pick Cam Ward. Danny, what do you want to see from him this time around that we didn't maybe see in the first preseason game against the Bucs?
More the same. I thought you saw flashes. I thought he looked comfortable. You know, the same things that we talk about all the rookie quarterbacks is that we don't want him to feel overwhelmed by the moment. And clearly he wasn't. He was pretty solid on 3rd down, had a nice long extended touchdown drive and a touchdown pass to Calvin Ridley. So I think it's more of you want to get him in and get him out. Like, because you do need him to experience the speed of the NFL. Even though the preseason isn't the same as the regular season, you just want him to get more comfortable calling out the plays, going through the system, getting into situations. And if you could get him, I think he might play a little bit longer, maybe play the first half, and then that last game of the last preseason game, you just give him a series. And because maybe you want to try to get him a 2-minute drill before the half, but I think you want to have a clean performance where you just continue to build the confidence. He's done all the right things this offseason, and without Will Levis, there's no real safety valve there. So I think you just want to kind of really hope for the best, a clean performance from Cam Ward.
Yeah, DK, clean operation. That's what you want from Cam Ward. Don't turn the football over. But to me, the one thing that I saw after watching the tape, want him to start a little bit faster, DK. I felt like when we got to the top of the second quarter, that's when he was in his rhythm. He was processing quick, getting the ball out of his hands, big-time throws on crossing routes to Calvin Ridley. Also found Eli Iomanner, who I think is going to be a sleeper for the Tennessee Titans. So if you're Cam Ward, just start a little quicker, right? Get more in the rhythm earlier in the game. It's also on Brian Callahan. It's his job to get his quarterback in rhythm a lot earlier in this game.
All right, it's going to be a good one. Tennessee, Atlanta, 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Gentlemen, always great to see you talking some NFL preseason. We will always have the best analysis following some of these preseason games here on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free 24/7.